Just one moment. There's a little delay.
Hey everyone, hope you're all having a great day today. We are live and we're doing an interview with one of our clients. His name's Peter. I got him on the line and we're just going to go through the process, talk about his experience with Fund&Grow, how he's using the credit, and kind of share some of that with you guys. And also, if you have any questions along the way, you guys can feel free to ask questions as well. So we're going to go ahead and bring him on now. There he is. Peter, how you doing today?
Hey Mike, how are you? Glad to finally get to talk to you a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm doing great. Thank you for taking time to join us today. I know you're a busy guy, you got a lot going on, but we just wanted to jump on here and just talk about, the credit that you've received with Fund&Grow, talk about that process, and kind of share with people how you're using the credit in your business. So we're going to jump right into that. Is everything looking good over there, Daniel? All right, cool. I don't have any, it doesn't look like I have chat over here on this computer.
The video should be pulled up on the side there.
Yeah, look, it doesn't look like it's playing yet, but we're definitely live, right?
I'm just going to refresh it.
So Peter, where are you joining from?
I'm joining from New Jersey right now, but I also live in Florida and up in New Jersey taking care of my dad.
Ah, nice. Where in Florida do you live?
In the Venice area.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, we're just north of Tampa, about 45 minutes north of Tampa in a town called Spring Hill. That's where our office is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, not that far.
What is that, a couple hours from Venice?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, probably a couple hours.
All right, cool. So while people are still jumping on here, we'll give people a minute to start joining in. So you were telling me before we went live, you were saying how you were a real estate investor. Were you saying you kind of took a break and now you're getting back into it? Is that right?
Yeah, Mike, I took a break. I retired. I made a bonehead move and lost some money doing something else. So now I'm back in what I know and like to do. So thanks to you, I'm getting started all over.
Awesome. Are you going to be investing in Florida mostly, or?
I'm going to split mostly Florida, maybe a little bit in Jersey while I'm up here, so I can have something going on at all times.
Nice. Very cool. All right. Now, what type of deals are you going to be investing in?
Well, right now I'm looking at some property in New Jersey, some rehabs, people that have some houses up for sale that need some work that I think I could get at a reasonable price. And the market is actually pretty hot here. I don't know if it's as hot as Florida, but it's pretty hot. So I'm working on that, and then I acquired some software to pick up the rest of my time with be able to purchase liens, tax liens, and tax deeds.
Nice. So you got software that houses these deals? Is that, and they're mostly tax liens? What software is that? Just curious.
It's a software I got with a friend of mine's company that he designed that kind of like filters everything out where, it looks for what you're looking for. So you've got to plug in the information and then it filters out all the stuff that you don't want. Nice.
Very cool. Would you mind sharing what that software is if maybe some other people wanted to look into it that are watching?
There's really no name to it because a friend of mine just developed it, but as soon as I get that name, I will let you know. He doesn't have it out on the street yet.
Okay. So you went through the Fund&Grow program. How long ago, was that recent that you got your funding, or was it over the last year?
Over the last year or so. It took, they go on, they do the round, then you got to, back off a little bit, and then they go back and do another round. But before I got started, I had one or two little credit things from experience I shouldn't have got into. But your affiliate company, Kadam, really did a nice job. They cleaned that up for me. They were, old and really not that accurate, so they were able to get them off and make my credit, up to 800 score, and that's why I was able to do well with it.
Nice. So when you started, what was your credit score when you started with us?
My credit score was like 650. But I had some things on there that, the banks really weren't going to look at unless we got them all.
Okay. Were those like late payments, if you mind sharing what they were?
Yeah,
Just so-
well, it was a few things. There was a couple late payments. There was some public records that needed to come off. And the public record was tough, but people in Tatum were diligent and, eventually got it off, and then that's when I was able to open up with you guys.
Nice. That's awesome. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with people because we do have a lot of people who come to us, they either sign up as a client, they call in, whatever, and they also need credit repair. But a lot of times people, they don't necessarily want to wait, right? Once they find out that they can get funding, they want the funding right away. And then when they find out they need credit repair, they're like, oh no, I got to wait, for that now. But it's always worth it because if you just go through with credit repair, you get those items deleted, you get yourself in a place where you qualify, and then you can get access to funding after credit repair is done. So we've done that for a lot of people, and we work real closely together with Catum so that once they're done getting the credit repair, getting those things removed, then we can go right into funding right after that and really still get a substantial amount of funding, even if those credit issues were there to start. So I just wanted to share that with people. Do you know about how long that took?
It took about 6 to 8 months to put that one public record. But guess what? It was the greatest thing I ever did because once that was off, I felt like the weight of the world was off my shoulders, and it was full speed from there. I mean, between you and Tatum, I couldn't have found any better people to work with.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that. We really appreciate that. It's exactly what we want to hear, That's exactly what we want to do. We want to get people qualifying, repair their credit if that's a need, and then that way we can actually follow through with the Fund and Grow program because people have got to have about a 720 score, no negatives, pretty much really good credit overall is what it takes to get access to business credit. So it's great to hear that we're getting those items deleted for our clients. And how did you originally hear about us? How did you find out about the Fund and Grow program?
I tinker a lot on Google and then ran across your name and did a little research and then decided to go with you and
cool.
got started, and that's when I found out about my credit. I really didn't know about that, but you guys said don't worry about everything, we'll take care of everything. And that's pretty much how I found it, right? Googling sources for credit.
Okay, cool. So what would you say, as far as the onboarding process with Fund and Grow? Do you think it was pretty smooth? Was it easy to fill out the information, if you recall?
What? It can't get it. Honestly, God. I mean, all I had to do was fill out some questions, and then I got my rep called me and filled in the blanks on anything to put an answer on the internet. I think it had the web page set up for, and from there, it's really smooth. Everybody at Fund and Grow, not only are they courteous and understanding, but they're very diligent on what they do, and they really do want to help people obtain that credit.
Awesome. Now, did you have any delays? Was there any feedback? I know everything so far you're saying is nothing but positive, but was there anything about the program maybe that you didn't know about at first, or any type of feedback that you'd like to give about the process that maybe wasn't what you thought it was going to be?
Actually, I was shocked that I could get all this business credit. I did not have it on my personal credit. So I know it's not a negative, but it's another positive.
Right.
I just did everything they told me to do and followed directions. I would tell people to follow directions, and there won't be any negatives.
Nice. Now, how do you organize and how do you keep track of your business credit cards? Because I know you've got multiple accounts, and a lot of times people are wondering, is this too cumbersome? How do I keep track of it, or is it pretty much just pretty easy to do?
It's pretty easy to do. I'm old school, so I do write a lot of stuff down, and I keep all my cards, believe it or not, in a little book like this that's used for business cards. I don't know if you can
Nice.
see it. And
Yeah.
I got the numbers, like the amount of credit on each card written on the outside of the plastic.
Nice.
So I know it's funny, right? So I just go in there and I look at the cards and see how much I need for a certain project, and that's the card I pull out and use.
Very cool. So you had quite a collection of cards there. How much did you end up getting when you went through the process? How much did you get in the first round, and then how much did you get total?
The first round I got about 41 pounds. Then I got like 30 or 40 more on the second round. The third round was to knock her out of it. You know, it pulled me all the way up to right around 200,000 total.
200? Nice. That's awesome. And that was in 1 year of service, 1 year membership?
1 year. So I would say, you know, if you work real hard, you know, and it took you a whole year to make 200,000, then this is the way to do it.
That's awesome. I love hearing that. So you're in real estate, you're doing tax liens. You know, how have you used the credit so far in your business? What have you used it for at this point?
Okay, I set up one of the cards with my business account so I could buy the tax notes, because they need to do it through the business account. They won't take it through the credit card. So I was able to do that. And that's how I purchased the liens. Now, as far as purchasing real estate, I got a private money guy that I use. And because I'm starting over again, even though, you know, I gave him my portfolio in the past, I got to prove myself. So I'm okay with it. So I needed 10% down, and I said, well, you know, how do I do that? You know, kind of went in a bad way back then. So he said, I don't care if you put it on credit card. I said, really? So that's what I do. I put the 10% down on credit card, and then they help me fund the rehab part of it 100% from there.
That's a good deal. That's cool. So you didn't even have to use a wire transfer then in that case. You're able to just use the credit card.
Yes.
Okay.
I used the credit card for that. And then I also used some wire transfers to put money into my business account. Like I said, there's some things that I need to do that need to go through the account.
Right. And how did you go about doing that? Did you use a HELOC, or how did you send the money?
Well, I got a rental property that I'm getting HELOC. But now, one of the companies had sent me 0% checks.
Okay.
So I just wrote one of the checks out to the company and deposited it at the bank, and boom, the money was right there.
Nice. And do you know what bank that was that sent you those checks?
Yeah, full.
Okay. And did it cost anything to do that balance transfer?
Yeah, it cost like 2 or 3%, which, you know, it's the price of doing business. So.
Right. Yeah, that's not bad at all.
You're getting 0% on your money. So if you don't pay it off the first month, you know, the payment is so low that it's ridiculous.
Right, exactly. Speaking of that, I know it's like super manageable. And a lot of people, when they find out about this, they're kind of shocked, kind of like how you were. Did you know that you could get business credit up until like finding out about Fund&Grow? Did you know about how it doesn't show up on your personal report and all that stuff?
I didn't know any of that, Mike, to be honest with you. I knew you know, they had credit for businesses, and in the past I tried to get it on my own, and I got nowhere. I mean, they shut me down real fast. So
Right.
It was awesome when I got this, and then I find out that it's not going to go on my credit report as long as I make the payments and keep everything up to date.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's pretty easy to do because, like I said, if you took $10,000 out, the payment is probably about, I would say, about right around $100 a month. So it's real easy to manage.
Right. Yeah, it's usually 1% of the balance. So that's exactly what you just said. I know a lot of times we get that question a lot, like, how does the repayment work? It's just 1% of whatever balance you carry. That's the minimum monthly payment. It's always good to make more aggressive payments and not only do the monthly payment, especially if you're going to go and apply again for another round of funding, definitely want to bring those balances down as much as you can. That way when we apply again, you look like you're not overextended, so you'll get more funding that way.
Right, and that's what I do try to do. But like, I'm just saying this for the people. Like, if you have a slow month or something, and you need to, to get through that 1 month, that's all it is.
Yeah, exactly. So you told me that you used the funding for something else before we started. Did you mention that? I think you said you were using it to like make a pay down or something like that.
I did. I actually had a car loan, right? And which I used for business, my car, to go find property, my truck. So I paid that off. I went from like 5% down to 0%. And then I paid off some credit cards I had that were like 14, 15% that I got down to 0%.
Nice.
It went on to the business side, and it jacked up my credit score on the personal side.
Nice. That's because the business credit we got you does not show on your personal report, right?
That's correct.
So moving that debt over to the business profile is naturally going to bring up your personal scores because there's no more debt there. You moved it over to the business credit report. So that's a big deal. A lot of people love that. I love that. I mean, if you do a flip and you've got $50,000 sitting on these business credit cards, it's not going to affect your personal score. So like a lot of flippers, a lot of people in general who are entrepreneurs, they're using their personal credit to fund the business, and then they're fluctuating every month. 1 month they're a 680, the next month they're a 780 when they pay it down. That's why it makes a lot of sense to use business credit, because it doesn't show up on your personal report. And that allows your personal score to stay nice and high. So like in the future, if you decide to do a mortgage or a cash out refinance, let's say you buy a property and you want to hold it as a rental, that cash out refinance goes through so much more smoothly because the bank, when they do a cash out, they're looking at your personal report. And if your personal looks really good, the cash out's going to go through and you're going to get a better rate, and it's just going to be a smoother process. And I've gotten that feedback from a lot of clients, and I personally experienced that. I just completed a cash out refinance myself, and I got the lowest rate I could get, and there was no issues. It got done early. So I've experienced it, and a lot of clients have as well. It just makes a lot of sense, to use business credit. If you're doing deals, if you're a business owner, why not, right? Why not apply and set up business credit? It just gives you more more ability to do more deals, basically, and just grow your business that much more quickly when you have that funding available.
Absolutely.
So another question I got for you. You did how many rounds of funding with us? Was it 2 or 3? Do you know?
3 total.
3 total. Now, what was the process like going through the round of funding? Just to share with people how that looked. Did you have to do anything? Were you like on the phone with the bank, following up? Were you doing any of that stuff?
I didn't have to do anything, Mike. Your guys and gals did everything. Once in a while, I would get a call from one of the reps at Fund&Grow saying, I need a code, I need this, I need that, something small. And I would get back to them within a minute or two. And they picked up the ball from there, and I didn't have to do anything. I never had to talk to any banks. I never had to write letters. I didn't have to do anything.
Awesome. So then this really didn't take up much of your time, right? It wasn't like super time consuming or something that like was a nuisance.
Not at all. Matter of fact, it was cool to watch because you would get reports as it went along.
Right.
And it was cool to see, what was going on. The transitions from 0 to this amount to the next amount to the next amount.
Yep. Yeah, and a lot of people, they don't realize that this is something that is difficult to do on your own. Like you just said earlier, you tried doing it on your own and you got shot down. They weren't giving you any approvals. And this happens with people with 800 credit scores. They'll apply and then they'll initially get shot down. It's not until a human being reviews that application, it's not until that happens before you actually get something substantial. And if you're doing it on your own, you're calling, you're sitting on hold. Sometimes you can sit on hold for 40 minutes at a time because a lot of people don't know how to get through to the decision maker. But we literally have direct numbers to the underwriters so that we can just get on the phone, have the application reviewed, and that's where 80% of the funding comes in. So when we apply initially, even with people with good credit, the initial approval is a 0. like 9 times out of 10. It's not until we do that review with the underwriter that funding starts coming in. And a lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people are, sometimes asking, like on a webinar, well, I have a 750 credit score. Why can't I just do it myself? And the fact of the matter is, with business credit, the approvals don't just come in like that. Like with personal credit, you can apply, the computer reviews it, the algorithm, all that, and then boom, you got an instant decision. And sometimes, a lot of times you'll get approved with personal credit, but with business credit, even with good credit, they shoot you down. It's not until we do that negotiations process where we're following up, speaking with the decision maker, and that's where, like I said, 80% of the funding comes in. And the fact is, we can't tell our clients to do that. Because for one, they'll be on the phone for way too long, taking up their time where they need to be spending in their business. And for two, we just know how to navigate the banks. We know how to get directly through to the decision maker. That's why we do all the work, because if we do the work and we keep it completely done for you, we get the best results that way. That's why people get large amounts of credit like this, because on the average person, if they were to do it on their own, and they did get approved, they wouldn't be getting approved for 100 grand. They'd get maybe 5 grand, 10 grand. But with us, we're able to get, $50, $75, $100,000 for a lot of our clients who qualify through that negotiations process, following up and reviewing each application. So if you guys are watching this, that part of the process is the biggest, most important part of the process. And that's where, like I said, 80% of the funding comes in. I see we got a few questions. We're going to grab some of these questions here in a minute. So feel free, if you guys have any questions, feel free to send them through. We are live right now. Peter is a client of ours who went through the program. If you guys are just tuning in, Peter's gone through the program. He received $200,000 in business credit, and it was all 0%, right? Because that's all we apply for usually is 0%.
Everything 0%.
And for how long was it 0%? Do you know, like the average? Was it like 12 months?
Yeah,
or?
the 0% lasts for about 22 months or so. They give you almost 2 years, so
Nice.
Hopefully I'll be doing another round with you and getting some more 0%.
That's awesome. Yeah, and it's kind of like, how can I pass that up? It's basically free funding that they're giving out. There's a lot of other business loans, lines of credit out there, but you're going to be paying a lot more than 0%. So it's so cool to hear that. You said 22 months. So that was most likely combined with all the funding that we got for you. 22 months is 0%. On webinars, when we're talking to prospective clients, we're always explaining to them that we help them maintain the 0% as long as possible. And the way we do that is by applying for multiple rounds of funding throughout that 12-month membership. And in some cases, we'll merge accounts or we'll move balances over to the new zero interest bearing account, because our main goal is to help our clients get as much funding as possible, but also help them keep it at 0% for as long as possible. So we have a lot of clients who will come back to us year after year, and then we'll do the same thing. We'll apply for more credit, we'll move the account, we'll move the balance, merge accounts to keep it at 0% as long as possible. And that's something that we take really seriously. And that's why we have clients like you who are willing to get on a video chat like this with us to detail the process. So I'm really appreciative of you coming on here and doing that. Looks like the questions are starting to pour in, so we're gonna get those in a minute. I just got a couple more questions for you, Peter, and then if you don't mind, maybe we can answer some of these questions together.
Sure, I'd be happy to.
So you started with credit repair, you got that done. You said your score increased about 100 points from when you started, roughly, right? You're
Yes.
at 800 now?
Yes, over 800 now.
Over 800. That's awesome. I love that. And you said you were like a 660, you had some blemishes, we got them removed, and then you ended up getting $200,000 after we did the credit repair process. Your score's up to over 800 now, and I'm sure your score is probably staying steady at 800, right? Because you're not using your personal credit as much anymore, right?
Yeah, if I do use it, because I like to use it once in a while, it will go down a point, then up 3 points. So it pretty much stays the same.
Nice. That's awesome. And we have a lot of clients who start the process and they're a little bit maxed out or whatever it is. The idea here is if you want to get the best results possible with business credit, you need your credit cards to be at 30% on each card. You can't have one card maxed out and then 2 cards with no balance. What you want to do is balance transfer that or pay it down so that all your accounts are at 30%. And that's going to allow you to get the most amount of funding possible. And then once you get to that point, then you're able to get business credit, and you won't have to worry about that again as much because your business credit profile will be established. So that means your personal credit's going to stay high because the business debt is going to now be on your business profile, which doesn't report to your personal credit report. Even though your personal credit is a qualifier, the business credit will not show up on the personal report, but they still look at that. What does that mean? So that means when you apply, you're going to get an inquiry on your credit report, right? That's what happens because they pull your credit, you get that inquiry, but now you've got access to $30,000, $50,000, $100,000 in business credit, so it's worth that credit pull. So once you have that credit pull done, the inquiry's there, it's not a big deal. Those inquiries are worth 2 points each. Now I wanted to ask you about that. Did you go through the inquiry removal process after we applied for funding and then we wrapped it up and we said, all right, we're done, let's go ahead and start on inquiry removal?
Yes, the first round, I had, I think it was like 8 or 9 inquiries. So that's when credit division, went in there and got them removed. And that took like maybe two months, I think. And then we're right back at it getting the next round.
Nice.
And the same thing happened to go into the 3rd round as well.
Now, did you do the inquiry removal process yourself, or did you pay Kadem to do it?
They give you an option to do it yourself, and I said, well, I really don't know how to do it, number one. Number two, I don't have the time.
You're like me.
So Kadem, I pulled them up, and they were more than happy to take care of it.
Right. Yeah, it's just a small, like, nominal fee that Kadem charges to do the inquiry removal. Some clients that go through, when you just got 50,000 or whatever, you're like, all right, I'll pay a few $100 again. I don't want to do it myself.
You know how you pay for it, Mike? You put it on your business card.
Exactly. How about the rewards points? Did you experience any big rewards points?
I do get some rewards points. I haven't cashed them in yet because I'm trying to build them up to be really high. So as soon as I start getting involved with more rehab, I think. And I know old school, everybody likes to say renovations now. So when they say rehab, it's old time.
But, that's what I say too. I guess I'm old school too.
Yeah, do you? Do you say rehab to rent?
Rehabs.
There you go. So, you do a couple of them, you're gonna develop a ton of reward points that you could use to do whatever they allow you to do with them.
Yeah, they rack up real quick. I'm working on 2. I'm actually completing 2 rehabs right now on 2 different properties. And I just checked my rewards points the other day because I went and stayed at the beach last week, and I was looking at my rewards points. I'm like, should I use them? I had like 330,000 of them built up, and I've had tons of clients who tell me that, because a lot of my clients will buy property outright. I know you said that you're using private money and then you're using the funding for like down payments and to cover other costs. But some clients will literally buy the property completely outright with the credit that we get for them. So let's say it's like a lower end market where it's a $50,000 purchase. They're buying that property as a cash buyer, sending a wire transfer using Melio or Plastic, sending a wire to the title company. Boom, the money's in escrow. Now they're closing as a cash buyer. But on the back end of that, they're getting several $1,000s worth of cash back rewards points that they can cash in. So every time you do a deal, you're getting a couple grand in cash back, literally straight cash back from the rewards. And that money right there, you can look at basically that money that you're getting back covering the cost of the Fund&Grow program or covering the cost of sending a wire transfer. Because like what you just said before, you did the balance transfer, you got the checks, that was like 2 to 3%. Now, if you want to specifically send a wire transfer from the credit account to the title company, that would cost 2.85% using Melio or Plastic. Those are the partners that we work with, and they facilitate the wire transfer from the credit account to the title company, and it's super easy. And that right there, it just generates a ton of rewards points. So that might be something that you might want to think about when you're doing your next deal and you're using a private lender. Maybe send them more, maybe throw in more than just 10%. Put like 20, 30, whatever percent on the credit that you've got, because that way you're going to get rewards points back.
Yeah.
And do the deal like half and half. We have a lot of clients that do that. They use it as down payment, or they use half hard money, half business credit. Because in some markets, the purchase price might be $250,000, and they might not be able to do that whole deal with the credit we got for them. So they'll use half hard money, half business credit. But I've had a lot of people in different markets where they're buying properties for like 20 grand. Maurice, one of my clients, he bought a package deal properties for $60,000. I think it was 3 different properties. So depending on the market you're in, you can definitely buy outright with this type of credit. I've interviewed tons of people that have done it. But if not, at least supplement the hard money deal, and that way you're going to get rewards points back. All right, so Tiffany says, I like rehab, LOL. Yeah, it's just easier. Sometimes when you say it, though, people are like, what do you mean? You had to go to rehab? What's going on?
Yeah, that's why I said that.
All right, let's jump into some of these questions. All right, so let's see. What if I have no credit and I'm starting from scratch? How long will it take to build my credit score to the point where I can get business credit? So, Peter, when you started with us, did you already have personal credit established? Like, did you have a couple bank credit cards already?
I did, and
Okay.
I had a car loan, so I did have some personal credit. I didn't start from nothing.
Right.
So,
And that's really the
I don't
foundation
know
that
how
you
it
need.
works that way.
Well, basically, because you had that foundation, we were able to go straight into business credit. We didn't have to worry about building your foundation because you already had that established. So for Sergi, that's what we would need to do. We would need you to have the same foundation that Peter had before we can apply for business credit. So what does that look like? Well, basically, we'll apply for multiple personal credit cards for you to build your personal credit profile. So if you have 0 personal credit, that is 100% the thing that needs to happen. You need to establish your personal credit by getting personal credit cards. Authorized users are okay, but that's not what I'm talking about. You need to be the primary borrower on personal credit cards and then establish about 6 months of payment history with those personal cards, and then you'll be able to get access to business credit once you've established that foundation. So that's how that works for you. Sergi, if you have 0 credit right now and you're starting from scratch, what you can do right now is wherever you have a bank account. So for example, I had a Bank of America bank account years ago, and that's where I applied for my first personal credit card, and I got approved. And then I built my credit from there. I say that because wherever you have a relationship right now, a banking relationship, you're much more likely to get approved for your first credit card with that bank. And sometimes you can go after a secured card. Secured cards are a good way to start building credit for people who have 0 credit. But I personally didn't start with a secured card. I know some people do, some people don't. But those are some options for you. Wherever you have a bank account, that's where you can go for a secured credit card or your first unsecured personal credit card. Okay, so H. Cruisin says, I have an LLC, my personal credit is low 600s, can I still join? So Peter, what was your credit when you started?
I think it was around 650, 660, somewhere in that.
650, 660. And then we did credit repair for you. We talked about that earlier in the video. This guy might not have, or this person might not have been on there for that part of the video. But basically, if you're in the 600s, so was Peter. Now Peter's in the 800s, and he's got $200,000 in business credit. So that should answer your question. Yes, you can still do this. You're possibly going to need to do credit repair first, or you might need to make some pay downs on personal credit cards. So it's either going to be credit repair or pay downs, and those are usually the 2 main reasons why your score is under 700. So once that's done, then you can get yourself to a place where you qualify, you're over 700 once credit repair is done, and then we can start applying for actual business credit funding for you. All right, so let's see. Tiffany says, I have a REI S Corp. Can I help? How can I help and lending abilities? I want to make impact. Okay. So if you're in real estate investing and you've got a business established already, then you should definitely start applying for business credit. That's what we're talking about here. So if you'd like to do that, that's something that we can help you with. Let me know if you have any follow-up questions. To qualify, you usually have to have about a 720 credit score or better with just good credit overall. So Art says, so is Fund&Grow submitting the applications for each card, and how many cards did Peter get applied for, each having a balance of an estimated 10K? So yes, we are the ones doing all the applications. We do all the legwork, and then we follow up and make sure you get approved with the maximum amount possible. And we have each application reviewed by a human being, which takes a lot of time. And then from there, we get the final approval, and that's how that process works. So do you know how much you roughly had on each account that we got, and how many cards do we get for you?
I got about 12 cards now. It was a little bit more, but they combined a couple, like you said earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And it did make it easier because now I don't have 3 Bank of America cards. I got the one. So I would say now I got about 10 cards.
Okay. Okay, so you got 10 cards. He's got a total of 200,000. So you can do the math from there to figure out the average amount per card. So let's see, the interest rate. So you said it before. You had, well, tell him again if you don't mind.
On my personal interest, or
no, the interest rate on the cards that we got for you. They want to know what was the interest rate.
Right now I have 0%, and it's around 22 months at 0%. Then it goes
Nice.
back up to the whatever percent they're going to end up charging it. But if you clean it up and then start over again, I think you'll be okay.
Yeah, you can pretty much do this indefinitely, especially when you're merging accounts. And let's say you have an old account that now has like a high interest rate, and you don't really want to use that one anymore. Well, you can close it out and then reapply and get the new zero interest again. But after that, just to answer your question, after the zero interest expires, there is an interest rate. Usually it starts at 12%, and it's usually what we see usually between 12 to 18% is where it usually would end up. But the idea here is to maintain it the 0% as long as possible. All right, so how is it unsecured? Well, it's literally unsecured. That's exactly what it is. Because it's unsecured credit, that means that it's not secured to an asset. There's no collateral. You don't have to collateralize the loan. It's an unsecured business credit card. Just like when you go and get a personal credit card, it's unsecured. Same thing here. That's how it works. There's no catch to that, Art Taylor. So the fee, I'll get to that in a minute, the fee that we charge. Tiffany says, what types of blemishes, utilization or actual? So I don't know if maybe her question already got answered, but could you just, maybe they came on late. Peter, would you mind sharing again what types of blemishes you had and that we got deleted and got you, past that?
I had combination of some inquiries. I had some late payments, 30-day lates, and I had a public record.
Okay. All right, so hopefully that answers your question, Tiffany. But yeah, just to reiterate, the balances need to be 30%. You can't be maxed out. So that I wanted to answer that second part of your question. All right, I'm just gonna get to a few more of these. We got quite a few people on here. I really appreciate you taking time, Peter. Do you have a few more minutes? Is it cool if we stay on for?
Sure.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I can stay on as long as you like, Mike.
All right, well then we'll wrap up at 5 today. No, I'm just kidding. How many months do I need to have my credit card balance at 30%? I usually pay my card off each month, but I can run up a balance for 2 to 3 months to hit the 30% number. So that I do the same thing, but the great thing is that once you get business credit, that fluctuation isn't going to affect your personal scores anymore. So to answer your question, you just need to pay down below 30% right when before we're about to apply, so that you qualify for the maximum amount possible. So that's how that would work. You want to get to that 30% number per credit card, then we can apply, and then you're good to go. So we usually do up to 3 rounds in the 12 months. Tiffany, do you remember if we did 3 rounds for you, or how many we ended up getting? Peter?
3 rounds. Yes,
3 rounds.
3 rounds.
There you go. So we wanted to do this interview live with you guys so that you guys can ask questions, and I can also have Peter graciously help me answer these questions so that you can see it's really coming from a client who's actually gone through the program, and it's not just me, saying things. It's actually being backed up, which I think is helpful for people. Okay, Marvin said how to apply for business credit program. So if anyone's interested in working with us, just let me know. Come to the questions area, let me know. Because if multiple people do say that you guys are actually interested in working together with Fund&Grow, I have a pretty big discount that I can unveil if we have a few people here that are interested in signing up with us. Okay, so Ron says, that was one of my questions. What's the minimum monthly payment? So it's about 1% of the balance. Ron, yes, that's correct. The minimum monthly payment is 1% of the balance that you carry at that time. So if you've got a $10,000 balance, you pay a $100 minimum monthly payment. Feel free to pay it all off, pay off half, whatever, but your minimum requirement is 1% of the balance that you carry. All right. All right, let's see. Tyrone says, my wife is my business partner. When we pull the trigger, is the funding she obtains separate from the funding I'll receive, or is it joint? So technically, it's separate, but you can become an authorized user on that account and still be able to use the funding that way as well. So that basically, it's kind of like it's joint, but when it comes down to the application, it's a separate application. It's just one person on the application. There's no cosign, and there's no joint borrower. Either one person's the borrower and the other person's the authorized user, or vice versa. So that'll definitely work, Tyrone. We have a lot of people that do that. Jure says, I'm in the trucking industry. My credit is bad. How do I qualify for business credit? Well, you've got living proof here with Peter. Peter had 650 credit scores. We did some credit repair for him, and now he's got 800 credit scores, and he's got $200,000 in business credit available because he listened to our advice. He followed our lead, and we got his credit repaired, and now he's got $200,000, and he's got repaired credit, 800 scores. So, ideally, we would like for everybody to just have 730, 800 credit scores right now, and we can just apply for everybody and not have to do credit repair. But we're pretty, cool people, so we are also helping people repair their credit as well. We have a partner company who handles all the credit repair for our clients. Even though it's more work for us, we're still happy to help get everybody to that point where they qualify. But just know, it takes time. That's why I asked Peter, because I want you guys to know the results are there, but it doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen in the first month. It can take months to get your credit repaired, to remove those negative items that may have been accumulated by you over multiple years of, a late payment here, a negative there, maybe a collection here, whatever it is. It takes time to accumulate those negatives, so it takes time as well to remove those inquiries as well. So if you guys are enjoying this interview, if you're getting a lot out of it, please like the video. We really would appreciate that. It helps us out somehow with the YouTube algorithm. I'm not really sure how it helps, but I know I'm supposed to say that. So if you could like the video, if you guys are, if you're getting some good info out of this. So he used his credit card to buy the house. Essentially, you can do that. Peter was using it as down payment, but you can use the funding to buy property outright. Tons of my clients have done it. I've interviewed tons of clients that have done it. I personally use the credit in my real estate investments as well. So it's definitely something that you can use to buy a property outright 100%. As long as you've got enough business credit. If you got, let's say you got $70,000 in business credit and you find a deal that you could buy for 50 grand, and you can definitely do that. You can send a wire transfer and it's easy, very easy to do that. All right, a couple more here. How are you able to get all your lates removed without closing those accounts? So if he's got late payments on his report, you can do credit repair, dispute those items, and get them deleted. You don't have to close down an account in order to get credit repair done. So you don't have to close your account in order to remove negatives like late payments or whatever the case may be. All right, so it looks like a few people are interested in getting started. Kritovas, Larry, Steven, James, Parish. Michelle says, I only have 2 negative items. I'm working with a company for $99 a month. Now, the one thing that I personally don't like about credit repair companies that want to charge a monthly fee is that they're not very incentivized to get your items removed because they're getting a monthly fee. They're getting paid $100 a month. And if they do delete your items, they're not going to get paid $100 a month anymore. So they're almost incentivized to keep you on as a client. And it's almost like contradictory. You would think, that there would be like a success fee or at least something like that built into it. But a lot of these companies that do credit repair, like I think Lexington Law does like $100 a month. That would make me a little bit skeptical because I'm paying you $100 a month to repair my credit. But if nothing's happening and 6 months goes by, now I paid $600 and I'm still on a monthly payment plan. So that's not how we operate. Catum, our partner, they just have a flat fee and they have a 6-month refund period. Totally different than all the other companies out there. And we set it up that way because we don't want our clients paying a monthly fee month after month after month. We wanted to incentivize our credit repair partner to actually get those items removed. So they do a one-time flat fee. Here's how that works. If you have 3 items or less to remove, it's $497. If you have 4 items or more that need to be removed, it's $797, and that's it. And you get a 6-month refund period, and that's how the credit repair company works that we work with. Look, Lawman Matlock said Lexington Law is not a good company. I'm not trying to completely bash other companies. I was just comparing the pricing and the fee schedule. But that's your choice at the end of the day. And so that's how that works with the credit repair thing. So Dion, what if all cards are paid and your credit score is above 800? Do you still need to push the utilization up to 30%? So no, not at all. So Dion, when I say 30%, that's like the maximum amount of debt compared to the amount of credit you have. That's where we want you to be max or below that. So if you're below 30%, you're better off. It's much better to pay off your credit cards every month, every couple months, pay them fully off. You don't need to keep a balance on your cards. So if you're at 0% utilization, Dion, then you're in really good shape. And in that case, you're ready for funding. But just one thing to remember, if you do this on your own, you're not, even though you have really strong credit, you're not always guaranteed to get an approval. And if you do, a lot of times you get a small amount. In fact, I wanted to show you guys, I thought we had the PowerPoint up. Where is that PowerPoint? I wanted to show you guys this one. So hopefully you guys can see that. I think we're going to bring that up so you guys can really clearly see this here that I'm talking about. So when people apply on their own, this is what tends to happen a lot. And this is what happens when we apply for a lot of our clients. Now this client got $112,000 total, as you can see here. But what would happen if the average person does this on their own is right here. In the initial column, this is the auto approval. And a lot of times when you apply for this type of credit, the auto approval comes back as a denial. Even if you've got strong credit, this happens all the time. I hear about it from clients all the time. They try to get credit on their own and they have strong credit, and that's what ends up happening right there. And it's because they make it more difficult to get business credit than they would personal credit. And the average person, when the average person applies, like 99.9% of people, when they apply, they take the decision that they get as the final answer, and that's it. And a lot of people don't know that you can negotiate on your credit decision. It's something that's kind of like an industry secret that we know how to do and do it successfully. Because even if you make an effort, sometimes they'll pull your credit again and they'll still shoot you down. It's a lot of times you got to know how to press their buttons and how to request that, how to get the application in review with the actual decision maker and underwriter at the bank. And also, this can take a long time. Like, we have a team here of 50 plus employees who are doing this at our client's disposal every day. And they're on hold sometimes for 30, 40 minutes at a time. And meanwhile, we have the direct number to the actual underwriting department. So just imagine if you didn't even have that number, you're bouncing around, they bounce you around from customer service to customer service. But this is where like 80%, in this case, 100% of the funding came in after the auto approval. So the auto approval comes back, it's denied, and then this person ends up getting $112,000. So that part of the process is super important. That's why people pay us every single month. We have a lot of people signing up with this program, and that's the reason why. Because they want to get the maximum amount of funding possible. They don't want to, bang their head against the wall trying to figure it out themselves. Now, Peter, just to confirm what I'm saying, do you remember what happened in the beginning? And do you remember like how the progress took place? Like, they were probably calling you, letting you know, hey, we got another approval, we got this one increased.
Yes. I got the first approval, and then they would call me and say, we're going to try to increase that first approval from this amount to a higher amount. And they were able to do that. I think, believe it or not, the very first card I got was only $2,000. But soon after that, that $2,000 went to like $9,000. So like when the first round, I had like 3 or 4 cards with between $7,000 and $9,000. And the second round, where they really started to pump that up, and then the third round, which was nuts good.
Yeah, and that happens a lot.
Yeah.
Especially since you were coming off those blemishes, we got them removed. Sometimes it's a little bit of a slower start, but I hear that all the time where people, they sign up and maybe their credit might be limited, or they might have a little bit of a blemish or weak credit of some kind. The first round comes in, it's pretty good. Second round comes in, it's looking a lot better, and then the third round comes in, and it's just like, we've got that foundation now, so that last round a lot of times comes in and just blows it all out of the water. So a lot of these people here saying, like, I have a 630 credit report and a 75% credit utilization. Do I need to pay down my cards to be okay to start to work with you? Absolutely. That's why I keep talking about the 30% rule, because that's a big part of qualifying. Let me see if I can just bring up that part of the and yeah, I don't know if you guys know, but we've got a ton of really good reviews. And we just take care of our clients. We got over 2,400 total reviews, and we like to keep our average rating at a 4.9. That means we get a lot of 5-star reviews, as you guys can see. We just like taking care of people. We feel better. We can sleep better at night when we just do good business, and that's why we have such a good reputation. So actually, Damon, he went through the program too. He ended up getting almost 200,000, just like Peter did. And with Damon, we had to remove a bankruptcy first. I just interviewed him not too long ago. So, even if you've got 600 credit scores, and if you'd like to have 750s or better, then this is something that can definitely help you guys out. So I know a couple of you guys mentioned that you were interested in getting started with us as a client. That could build you up to 125 in the first 3 to 4 weeks, and you can get up to and over $250,000 over that 12-month period. It works for people that are startups, so if you're a brand new business or you've just done a few flips, it'll work for you as well. And you can add on a partner. It's got to be a family member or a spouse. So normally this is what a lot of companies out there are charging for all these different things that we've thrown into it, but we've got a ridiculously cheap deal for you guys just to make it so that everybody can do it. The price today is normally $4,000, but if there's anyone on the call, we went ahead and opened up a discount, so we've dropped it down $500. So the price that you would pay would be $3,500. If you guys want to do that, go to fundandgrow.com/2021, and you can get started on that right away. I just wanted to bring up some of the qualifications so I could show you guys the qualifications. So 720 score, can produce up to 100 grand. And within a few days, you'll find out if you qualify as is, or you'll find out if you need pay downs or repair. We let our people know, like, as soon as you get signed up, we go through and we get back to you within a few days, and we let you know, where you stand. And then we have a 60-day refund period. We're not in the business of holding anyone's money hostage. So if it turns out that you don't qualify, you might need credit repair. I highly recommend sticking with credit repair. But if for whatever reason, you need to just back out of the program, that's up to you. We do have that 60-day refund period for that. But again, credit repair works. It takes time. And what's really cool is with our program, if, like, let's say you start with us and you need credit repair, the Fund and Grow membership doesn't start until after credit repair is complete. So I'm sure Peter could attest to that. Peter, you said that you were doing credit repair with Kadem for like 6 months. And then once that was done, you still got your full 12-month membership with Fund and Grow, right?
Yes. You guys put me on hold until that was cleaned up, and then it took off from there.
Awesome. All right, so if there's any last-minute questions, let me know. But if you guys are interested in getting that $500 discount, that'll be for today only. So go to that link, fundandgrow.com/2021. If you guys are interested in getting started and being a client, just like Peter is. Peter, are you still an active client? Are we still applying and getting you funding right now?
No, I just completed my 3rd round, and I'm going to do some deals, and then I'm going to jump right back in the fire and try to fix whatever I got.
Nice. Awesome. All right, so let's just grab a couple more of these, and then Cindy says, credit score 760, cards with 0 interest for 9 to 12 months, balance transfer back and forth so I can pay out the balance. At times I'm maxed out on one card, but only use 12% of all limits. Problem? Cindy, it sounds like you're doing pretty good. Sounds like you've already watched our webinar or something, because you're doing pretty much what we recommend. So that's not a problem at all, Cindy. We could definitely get you some business credit with what you're telling me right there. You're in good shape. So Parish says, my overall utilization is 25%. Out of that one card, I'm using almost 80%. Okay, so then if you have one card, let's say one card that is 25%, and then you've got one card that's 80%, and then let's say you've got another card that's like 10%, then what should you do here? Well, what you should do is you should take some of this and move it over here, and then you should take the other portion of it, move it over here. That way you look like this, and that's 30% on each card. So you'd much rather be 30% on each card versus having one card maxed out and then the rest really low. So hopefully that makes sense. The bank doesn't like it. Like, one of their pieces of criteria that they look at is how you're extending yourself on one account, on any given account. Because if, let's say, you apply to Bank of America doesn't want to see that you're maxed out on one card, but you've got all the other ones at 0. They would like every bank would like for you to be nicely even keeled across all of your balance, all of your accounts. So that's what you should do. What we would recommend doing here is a balance transfer. So you would move some of this over there so that you're at 30%. And you don't always have to pay down if you're like in a situation like that. If you've got one card with available credit and the other is maxed, you can move the balance over, balance transfer, and that's going to help you out in many ways. It's going to allow you to get business credit at 0%. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow you to move this balance over to the business credit so you stop paying interest on it. Tony says, can you get the 0% again after the first 6 or 12 or 18 months? Yes, absolutely. Just like you heard from Peter, he's been doing this for over a year, and he's got up to 22 months at 0% because we're continuing to repeat the process. And didn't you say that we merged some of your accounts? I think you said you had 3 BOA cards, now you've only got 1, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And it made it easier because, like I said, you only had to track one card. And you got 0% the minute you did that.
Right. Awesome. All right, well, I'm just going to answer these last couple. Do you help with a down payment for your program? We have a payment plan. If you guys want to see what the payment plan is, go to fundandgrow.com/2021, and you can check out the payment plan there. So there you go. It's on the bottom of the screen, fundandgrow.com/2021. There's a 2-payment plan and a 3-payment plan. That'll allow you to get in. We'll get started right away, and then you'll be moving forward to funding. So Kravotus says, if I only need inquiries removed and lower my usage down, how long will it take? That won't take very long at all. Do you have any brand new accounts? Because if you don't have any brand new accounts, we may be able to move forward as is. First, let us review your credit report. So if you guys want to get started, go to the link, or you can call in. Just make sure that you mention you were on this video, and you can find the phone number in the top right-hand corner, and you're going to want to press 1 to reach this sales team. My wife has a 720 score with 1 card reflecting 1 late payment, 1 credit card reflecting 1 late payment. How can you get that off without risk of closing the account? We can just remove the late payment. We can get that disputed without affecting the account standing at all. And we do that all the time. We did it for Peter. I don't know if you guys heard that, Magnum Home Services, yes. But Peter's mentioned that quite a few times so far on this interview, that we helped him remove late payments. And Peter, did us removing the late payments affect the account?
No, once the late payment was removed, the account just keeps going. It doesn't stop.
Right.
So you don't lose that card.
Exactly. Lawman Matlock, is there a way we can fix our own credit? Yeah, I mean, you can Google credit repair, how to repair my credit, go on YouTube. You'll find plenty of there's free information on everything. So if you're trying to do something on your own, you could definitely do that on your own. There's dispute letters online, and you can repair your own credit if that's something that you want to do. Is funding that is provided only for real estate? Not at all. No. We have clients that are restaurant owners who bought a food truck. We just interviewed them not too long ago. They were here actually with their food truck. They're here once a month on Tuesdays. They bought the food truck for like 70 grand because they had a restaurant, and thanks to the pandemic, their restaurant was shut down and they had to pivot, so they started a food truck. They bought a food truck with the funding that we got for them. Any type of business, Amazon, e-commerce, we've got truck drivers, lawyers, doctors, brick and mortars, like any type of business uses this program. Yeah, so go to the link if you guys are interested in getting the discount. That's only going to be up for today. It's fundandgrow.com/2021. And the price today is $3,500, normally $4,000. So I wanted to get some of these questions. It looks like we already got those questions answered. If your wife has 2 active credit card accounts, that should be good. Magnum Home Services. All right, so if you guys like the way we did this interview, that we did it live and we were able to answer questions with an actual client who's gone through the Fund and Grow program, if you guys like this, please like the video, share it, comment something on it if you got a question at any point and you're watching this after it's no longer live and you're watching it. Feel free to comment some questions, because I love when we get questions in a comment. I take that comment and I create a video out of it a lot of times. So if you have a question, submit it through the comment section, and then we'll create a video answering your question that way. One last question, and then we're going to wrap up. Can you get the 0% again 6, 12, or 18 months at a time? And and the cash be pulled out of the card? So as you heard Peter say, he was able to use the cash. He got a convenience check from the bank. He was able to do a balance transfer that way. A lot of people are sending wire transfers. And yes, you can do multiple rounds of funding and continue to get zero interest time after time. Many clients do it. I've got one client, he's been in the program for going on 3 years now. He's got over 500,000, and I interviewed him, his name's Nick Perry. He grew his business from doing 40,000 a month to doing 400,000 a month. So you can definitely continue rolling it over and continue getting more 0%. But yeah, I think I've got all the questions answered. Guys, if you want to get started with us, go to fundandgrow.com/2021. I want to respect Peter's time and all of you guys watching. Thank you so much for joining us live. We really appreciate it. And if you got anything out of it, if you thought it was good content, or if you got some good info out of it, please do like the video, share it, comment, whatever you want to do. We really appreciate that. If you're not already subscribed, definitely subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that you get notified of the next video. And one other thing, we're doing a giveaway, so you're definitely going to want to subscribe, because we're doing a giveaway every single month. If you want to get more information about that, go to our channel and watch the recent videos about the giveaway. But until next time, thank you all for joining us, and thank you, Peter, for taking time to do this. I really appreciate it. It helps a lot. It really clears things up for clients. So really, I really thank you for coming on here today.
Great. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk to you guys on the next video. See you later. You can leave it up if you want, or did you already close it? Put the screen up.